be the Robin.
I'm just searching for equality, looking for some reason, no violence, no apologies. But I do want opportunity, hard work, it ain't new to me.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Rach Da Gem back for another episode of Melanin Boulevard. I'm super excited. I probably say that every week, but like this week, like I'm really super excited for this guest. I've been trying to get this type of guest on my show for months, but I finally found someone, and they are a doula, which is so important, and I feel more Black women need it. It's imperative to our health and our life. I wanted to introduce Chaunta, owner of Brown Girl Birthing. She's a doula, and I can't wait to get to know her today. How are you doing today?
I am okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. Thank you for taking out time. I know doulas are super busy, so thank you so much for taking time out and being on Melanin Boulevard.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I'm always open to invites to talk about the work I do.
Thank you. So first, for people who don't know, what is a doula?
So a doula is essentially a birth support person. They provide information and education about birth, birthing processes, and anything really like birth related. So we're providing education on breastfeeding, on pain meds, on natural pain management, anything that you can think of in the birth realm. We're kind of like providing resources, and then in the actual birth, we're providing support. So we're there with mom should she choose, and we're helping the partner make mom as comfortable as possible so that this can be the most pleasant experience possible.
Okay, so for people out there who maybe have not heard of doulas or don't know don't have a full understanding, so you don't actually birth the baby, you're there as a support to the mother.
Yes.
So why is a doula so important, especially now?
So doulas are very important, especially for women of color. We're finding that there are huge health disparities in Black and brown women birthing. Black women are dying at 4 times the rate of their counterparts. And we're finding that it's due to bias, really. Like, we're not being heard, we're not being listened to, we're not being educated on the risk factors of the choices that we're making. So we're making these choices uninformed a lot of times and not realizing that we're putting ourselves at greater harm. So it's very important because essentially we act as advocates. Like, we are there to advocate for you and make sure that you are fully informed on your options, the choices that you're making, and the things that they're administering, or the procedures that are being offered to you. And then just the emotional support that we're providing. Like, we're making sure that you are mentally okay. So yeah, it's very important.
I love it. So I have 3 children, and I didn't have a doula, but the support would have definitely been appreciated, because I felt like not alone, because my mom worked at the hospital and she wasn't just about to let anything happen. So she was low-key my advocate, but at the same time, I chose to seek a Black OBGYN. So that was important to me, because there was like a situation with my last one. They were trying to lock me up because I didn't answer the questionnaire properly, and so, like, immediately, if you are postpartum, they would lock you up. Like, that is pretty scary.
Yeah.
And they kind of take that choice away from you, and they don't know you. So me going to the same doctor for the last 15 years, pretty much, she knows me, you know, and she
Right.
thankfully when they were like discussing this and she came in like at that moment was like, no, she's fine, like we'll deal with it. And I was like, that could have gone left real quick.
Really
Yeah,
left.
because if they would have tried to take me away from my child, they would have really wanted to lock me up, you know. So it's pretty scary, and a lot of Black women find themselves in positions where the doctors are making important medical decisions on their behalf, and the women feel like they have no choice, or they just go with it because they're expecting the doctor to be the expert and have their best interests at heart, and that's not always true, right?
Yes, that is very true. Everything you said. Yes. Which is
So
why it's important.
it is extremely important. So like I see a lot of people getting doulas like when they do home births, but I think maybe they're a little bit more imperative when you're actually in the hospital.
Yes, I would agree. A lot of people think that doulas are for moms that want to go unmedicated or want to be completely natural or want to do a home birth. And that's not the case. Like you said, honestly, we're even more necessary in the hospital setting because that is where there are more people that are essentially able to make decisions, and you have many more risk factors. So I would definitely say even more in the hospital setting, you know, because you have things like induction and, you know, pain medications and C-sections and those things that occur. And we are not knowing the risk factors. We're not knowing that, you know, this epidural increases the risk that my labor may stall or that I may need a C-section, you know, before we're saying, yes, give me this. You know, many women don't even know that there are other pain medication options besides epidurals. You know, you don't have to go straight to epidural. You can try other things before you get to that level to try to, you know, ease it. So, yeah.
So what are those options? Because I don't know. I didn't have an epidural. I just went completely natural because I'm afraid of needles. And so I was like, yeah, that's a no for me. Plus, you know, I did the research and I'm like, this doesn't seem okay. And it could cause things to happen to my baby. It could cause long-term issues. So I was like, yeah, I don't like needles, but that's even more reason not to do it. I was like, I'm just going to have to thug it out. But I didn't know there was like something in between that I could have had. Now I'm kind of mad. So what are those things?
There are several different medications. There are IV pain medications that are administered through an IV. So you wouldn't even have to have like the needle and the bag. They even have like laughing gas. Some hospitals have laughing gas as an option to kind of take the edge off. Now, I will say that those pain meds are not going to give you epidural relief. Epidural literally, like, from what I've heard, I've never had one, but it completely takes the feeling away. You know, you just feel pressure. Those typically kind of take the edge off. Like, you still feel it, but it takes some of that edge off where you can, like, you know, maybe get a couple minutes of sleep, you know, so yeah. And there are several different ones, like there's a ton.
That would have been nice to know, because I was just out there just for some hours, you know. Luckily my labors weren't like extremely long, but like it would have been nice for them to be like, you know what, if you don't want an epidural, we at least have this to kind of help, because I was exhausted. All my labors were like early in the morning, so I was exhausted, I was tired, you know. And that would have been nice to know, and they don't tell you that. They don't give you that option. And even like my doctor didn't tell me, you know, didn't discuss like, okay, here are your options as far as pain. All they said was, do you want an epidural? I was like, no. And it was like, all right, young thug, you got this. You got this. So that's good to know. I mean, women need to know that. Can you talk about some of the other not options, but decisions that doctors are making that could be detrimental to us as Black women when we're birthing our children?
One of the biggest that I'm like, I try to warn people about is induction.
Mhm.
Induction is probably one of my biggest, like, no, like only if medically necessary, meaning only if you have some kind of health condition or your baby has some kind of health condition that is detrimental to your health. They can't stay in any longer. Or you made it to the 42 weeks, you know, whatever, and baby's not coming. But induction is just like, it increases the risk so much for like C-section and stall labor. Like when you're inducing a woman, you're essentially telling her body start labor and her body isn't ready.
Mhm.
So that's probably the biggest one. Other than that, C-sections, like a lot of times they're like, oh, emergency C-section, and not really telling you like what is an emergency about this, like, and telling you like why this is an emergency.
Mhm.
You know, some doctors will be like, well, you've been stalled at 5 centimeters for a long time, so you're not gonna dilate anymore. Not true. Like, is my baby heart rate dropping? Is my heart rate dropping? Is my baby in any kind of distress? If not, I'm cool. Like,
They're
you
just
know,
tired of
like,
waiting.
yeah. It's like I'm tired of waiting, you know. And so let's just cut this baby out, which is not true.
I don't like that.
Yes.
I was gonna ask have you been in a situation where you've had to advocate for a woman and the doctors kind of don't want to take that from you, or like how does that work? If you're
So no, I have not been in that situation before, really. Honestly, as a doula, I do not talk directly to the doctors. So I don't speak on behalf of my clients. That's not what I'm here for.
Mhm.
So I will tell my clients, like, you know, maybe I'll wait till after the doctor stepped out of the room. But it was an instance when I had to say, you can say no. Like, no is an option for this in front of the esthetician. The anesthesiologist.
Mhm.
And so typically I just tell my clients, like, okay, this is what they mean by this. These are the risk factors. What are you thinking? Like, where are you at? And we talk about it. We talk about like their pros versus their cons, and I kind of help them walk through the process of, is this the best decision for me? Is this the best decision for my baby? Is the risk too great? Or is this something that I want to do? You know, if I have a mom that walks in and says, I don't want this, and now we're at a place where it's being presented, we'll process through that. Like, I know you said you didn't want this. So what is making you consider it? Like, why is it an absolute no? Like, you know, and we'll kind of talk through that and see if things have changed. You know, some people be like, I'm not having an epidural, but they get there and, you know, the pain is so great. We talk about like other ways to manage whatever it is. You know, so can my position change help my baby heart rate go back up and keep my baby from being in distress? You know, can doing squats help me progress further, like help me dilate further? You know, can hydrating, you know, help me relieve some of these symptoms that I'm feeling? So we just go through those options and talk about it and process through all of that. And, you know, I let them know, like, that's not evidence-based. Like, there's no evidence supporting that. You know, or I'll be like, this is what the evidence says, this is what the research says, and here's where you can find it. Let's talk about it, you know. So
Yeah, they don't let you really drink water when you're in the hospital. You do have to stay in one position. They don't offer anything else but just lay there, sit there, whatever.
And you have the option, but a lot of times they don't let you know that you have that option.
Mhm.
You know, because it's convenient for them. You know, it's convenient for you to lay in that bed. That means we don't have to worry. It's no risk. Like, you're not gonna fall. We can keep the baby on a monitor. So, you know, for all our screening purposes, all the documentation that we have to do, it's very easy.
Mhm.
So, you know, a lot of hospitals, they have, you know, detachable bottoms on the bed where, you know, you can sit more in a squatting position. They have yoga balls that you can get on. They have peanut balls. Some even have birthing tubs where you can, you know, labor in the tub before you actually push. But a lot of times they're not informing moms that this is an option.
Yeah.
Even like, for example, when I had my daughter, so, you know, I toured the hospital, you know, I had all this stuff that I wanted to do. I planned on laboring in the tub, but I knew that water provides a lot of relief. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna wait until the pain is so unbearable that that's my last option, and, you know, it'll give me a lot of relief. Well, they didn't inform me that when they break your water, it's hospital policy that they won't allow you in the tub.
Oh wow.
So they broke my water, and, you know, hours passed. Of course, breaking your water makes the contractions more intense because, you know, you don't have that fluid that's kind of help buffer that pain around the baby. So, you know, you feeling everything. And so I waited till it was unbearable. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm ready to get in the tub. And they were like, oh, you can't get in the tub. We broke your water. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like, you're for real right now? Like, you know, like just something that simple. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that you should have informed me. If you knew that this was something that I planned to do, why not inform me that breaking my water could affect that decision later on down the line?
Yeah.
So even just simple things like that, like I'm informing okay, you know that if you do this, then that rules out this option. And, you know, sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
But sometimes you're like, no, because I would have been like, no, don't break my water.
Right.
Like, I'll just wait it out. I'll let it break on its own.
Did they have a reason for breaking your water?
To help me progress faster. That was
Yeah.
the reason, you know. They said once they break your water, then things will go faster. I don't know that I feel like that was beneficial. It was very, very long. But, you know, I wasn't educated fully to know that I didn't have to do that. So.
Yeah. What led you down the path of creating this doula business?
Really the necessity. So breastfeeding was my first like advocacy role. Like, I'm a lactation counselor.
Okay.
And so I spoke out a lot about that. You know, people started reaching out to me, and then I started working as a home visitor.
Mhm.
And I was noticing that majority of my clientele, especially my Black clientele, they were being induced like at
Hmm.
significantly high rates. Like their OBs were telling them, "Oh, you're not gonna dilate at 37 weeks." Like,
Oh
"Oh,
wow.
you're not dilated. You're not gonna dilate. Your body's not gonna dilate." Or, you know, VBAC isn't an option, even though there were no risk factors, you know, to prevent that. Which VBAC is a vaginal birth after cesarean, for those that don't know. And so I'm just like, this is not right. Like, I know this is not right. Like, I need to educate. Like they need somebody to let them know, like, you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to agree to induction. Like, like, what are the reasons? What is harmful to your baby that they need to take it early and not wait until you're 40 weeks? Like,
right. They're going on vacation. That's why.
Exactly. It's a business,
Yeah.
And if I induce you and then have to give you a C-section, then that's what?
More money. Let's get that money.
Right.
So what city are you working out of, or are you all over the country?
So I just relocated to Houston, Texas. So I am working out of Houston, Texas. I do a lot of virtual things, especially since COVID. It was not my intention to be virtual, but due to COVID and things like that, plus people from back home, I moved from Illinois. They are still seeking me out. So I do offer virtual things, virtual services, period. A lot of the hospitals now, because of COVID, have a one person rule. So usually it's the partner, so a lot of it can be done virtually. A lot of it is education. And actually in February, one of my births, the baby came a month early. And so it was before my on-call period, and the baby came so fast. And I essentially was doing virtual support. And so I'm like on the phone with them, like while I'm trying to get there, and I'm like talking to them, I'm talking to dad, I'm like, okay, try this, and like you got this, like, being a support to dad, because dad was freaking out. And so it was just like, looking back, I'm like, whew, that really prepared me for virtual support and what that may look like, and letting me know that it was possible, because even though I wasn't physically there, they was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, like, like you helped so much. And I'm like, I feel like I didn't do nothing. Like, I missed the whole thing. But I was able to, talk them through as best I could until I got there, and that was fine with them.
So you were still there in support, even though you weren't physically there.
Yeah.
So I think that's what people need a lot, and providing the education is so important, because we don't know all the rules, and every hospital is different, and every doctor has their preference, and and you can have your own preference. It's your body. So more people need to know that. And it's so sad to see, these reports of Black women passing away in childbirth. I have a client who lives in London, and she works also as a doula. And she was like telling me, we were talking about her doula business, and she was telling me like, we go, or the country like pays for these services. They're like just readily available. It's not like you have to seek this out, it's like it's normal to have a doula. So it's a readily available service, and they even provide you with support after the baby gets here. And I was just like, no, we don't have that here like that. Like they don't just offer that. So you also support the parents after the child is born?
I do, but so there are postpartum doulas that like focus primarily on like helping you with the baby. They may cook for you, all those things. I'm a birth doula, so I don't do all of those services, but I do provide emotional support. If mom chooses to breastfeed, I provide, lactation support, helping make sure that is going okay. And then I focus a lot on mental health as well, like making sure that, so I stay with moms. Typically, I try to push my closing meeting until at or after the 6-week mark, because I want to make sure that you've gotten back to the doctor and they've cleared you, you know, there's no anything physically going on that we may need to call to attention.
Mhm.
So
So, what do you feel more people need to know, and more Black women need to know, Black and brown women really need to know about birthing their children and the options that they have?
I think that just you have a choice. It's your body. Like, if they're not listening, make them listen. Like, tell them they need to write it in a report that you asked for this. Tell them that they need to put it down that you're having pain. Like, I need you to put that in your notes,
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, they don't want to. They don't want to look bad. You know,
Right.
they don't want to get sued. They don't want to lose money. So if I wrote this in my report and I didn't follow up, that's negligence.
Yep.
And, you know, I am liable at this point. So, you know, we have to hold them accountable, because at the end of the day, our life is on the line, literally.
Literally. Yep.
So we have to, like, you know, and we have to inform, you know, our support people, our husbands, our moms, our aunts, our boyfriends, our whoever is in that room, and let them know, like, don't let up. Like, you know, like, my life literally depends on it. You know, a lot of people don't realize that you literally can die. Like,
Yeah.
you know, especially our partners, you know, like, if you're a man, you've never physically been through it to know it, you know, to know, like, how intense, how painful, you know, like, how things can go left like that, like,
Yeah.
in a blink of an eye, like, you know, a hemorrhage and boom, you're gone. Like, you lost
Yeah.
money. Like, it's just, it's scary. It's really scary. And it's scary that we as a country that's so developed have mortality rates that are higher than some third world countries.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to point out is in the United States, the mortality rate for Black women giving birth is so high compared to other countries that we would see as maybe not as advanced. They don't have
Yes.
access to the great technology that we have.
Yes.
Why is that? Why?
I mean, the only thing is implicit bias. Like, it's bias that is being perpetrated against us.
Mhm.
Like, you know, and I used to feel like it had something to do with class, money, like, you know, like, when I had my daughter, I was on Medicaid, like, you know, like, so it's just like, okay, it's because I'm poor.
Mhm.
But, like, looking at cases like Serena Williams, like, that's like, she had all the money in the world, like, and still nearly died because they just were not listening. So it's definitely exceeds class and, you know, status and all of those things. Like, the only commonality is race. Like,
Yeah, even Remy Ma,
yes,
she
yes,
had a really hard
mhm,
birth, and she almost
yes,
it was rocky for a minute. And
mhm,
so things like that is pretty scary because she
yes,
has the money to get the best doctors.
yes, yes,
So my thing is, Black people, get Black doctors,
yes,
and know that you can change your doctor
yes,
because you don't have to keep the same doctor. The minute someone does anything out left field, you need to address it.
mhm,
Like I said, I've been with my OB for like 15 years, and like their office manager did something outrageous. And so, you know, I made a complaint about it, and she addressed it immediately, you know. And so I think that that is so important. You have to know that you need to speak up for yourself
mhm. You have to.
because this is your body. Like,
It,
it's
it's your life. It's your life. And even when you know, before you're in the delivery room, like, we have to be mindful and pay attention to the ethic or the way that our doctors are dealing with us in our prenatal appointments. Like, you
yes.
know, because many of them are letting us know how they feel in those prenatal appointments. If I feel like I can't ask you, if I feel like you're shutting me down, if I feel like you don't want to deal with me, I need to switch doctors. Like, because you're not making me comfortable, you're not making me feel safe, and I'm not gonna put my life in your hands, because when I'm giving birth, I'm putting my life in your hands. You know, we need to know that there are other options besides hospitals. You know, you can birth at a birthing center. You know, you can have a midwife. You can birth at home. Like, you know, some states don't allow it, but there are a lot of states that do. So, you know, we have to realize that there are more options, you know, and also, like, we got to recognize that our bodies, they know what to do. Like, we have to trust our body. We have to listen to our bodies. Like, our body know what to do. It know how to get this baby out. We've been doing it since the beginning of time. You know, even before modern medicine, you know, before doctors and all that. We were birthing each other babies. We would all come to the house and get hot towels and buckets of water, and, you know, so our bodies know what to do. We just have to trust that. We have to listen to that. So if your body's telling you something not right, listen to it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what it is, something is, you need to speak up. Like, you have to advocate for yourself. So.
Yep, definitely. We've been doing this a long time. We've been having babies out here for quite a while. And I mean, I wanted to have a home birth, but I was like, I don't even know where to start with that. Like, who's gonna come to my house? So I was just like, I guess I'm gonna have it at the hospital, but you know, in the way that I want. But I'm not saying I want to have any more kids. If I were to just have another child, I would love to have like a home birth. That has always been like a little dream of mine, but I'm okay if I don't. It's okay, because the ones I got are here. My kids are here. But I just need everyone to know that you have options. You can change doctors. You can ask questions. If you don't feel comfortable asking questions, you need to go ahead and get up out of there. And even if, like, you know that there's so many doctors out there, and even if you are on like public assistance or Medicaid, you can go to another doctor. They have a bunch of doctors under the network. Your insurance, they have a bunch of doctors under the network. Be picky, because you should be. And I'm lucky I didn't have to really go. The first doctor I went to was the one that I liked, you know.
Yeah. I was blessed as well. Like, it was moments when I was laboring that I was like, if I was at a different hospital with a different doctor, I probably would have been cut open. Because my labor was very long. Even my pushing, you know, I pushed for nearly 2.5 hours. And it was moments when I was like, I gotta get this baby out. And the doctor that I had, she never once mentioned C-section. Like, she never once, and she shouldn't have, like, but I was just so happy. I'm just like, dang, like, even when it was times where I'm like, I don't even know if my body can do what it's supposed to do. Maybe I'm, you know, but it was just like, she never once mentioned it, because my baby never once was in distress, and I was never once in distress. So there was no problem. Like, you know, there was no need to put that option on the table. And, you know, a lot of times they use scare tactics. Like, if you're scared, your body naturally is not gonna do what it needs to do. Like, you're putting stress on your body, and it's already in a stress state. Of course your labor will stall.
Yeah. That's true. That makes sense. So, what is like your greatest moment of being a doula? What do you love most about it?
Working with my clients, seeing the doula. It's so much I love about it, actually. I don't think I can pinpoint one thing. I think just looking at the moms when they see their babies, you know, listening to them explain like how supported they felt, like that makes me feel good. Like, you know, how they didn't have anyone, or even when they do have people, like, that the experience was better. Like, that makes me feel good. Like, and then, you know, the experiences where I have felt like I needed to really advocate for moms, like, no, you don't have to do that. Like, you know, and they stood on their answer, like, no, I'm okay. And they felt happy that they did that in the long run, you know, like, that's probably my favorite part. And just giving people the knowledge. Like, people inbox me all the time, asking me questions and stuff, and be like, man, I didn't even know that. And I'm just like, yeah, like,
That's amazing.
just putting the information out there, like, you know, because birth is beautiful. Like, it's hard, but it's beautiful. Like, and it changes you, you
It
know.
does.
So just helping them to make that experience everything that they want it to be. Because we know that nothing goes as planned with birth, with children, you know.
Ever, like ever.
Birth and pregnancy is probably like the first
Whew.
time the child is taking a stand, like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna do nothing about it. So,
Mhm.
you know, just helping to bring some peace in something that's so uncertain, like, so crazy, so just, you know,
Yeah.
not predictable.
I can say my kids are never predictable, and I hate waiting. And so, like, all my kids were like, surprised we're here.
Yep.
And so I'd rather have it that way than like me waiting at like 40 weeks, like, oh, then my anxiety's gonna be high because I have an issue with pain. Like, I know it's coming. So I'm trying to brace myself, but when it was a surprise, I was like, that's even better because I, you know, that anxiety wasn't there. It was just like, it's go time. But
I'm playing the waiting game, so
yeah.
all the way to the end.
Mine were like, listen, we're tired, we're ready, we need to be seen. They all love to be seen. So that's what they do. So how can we support you in your business? What can we do?
Just educating, like, letting people know that I'm here, like, I'm a resource, shouting me out. I don't know. That's really the biggest thing, like, letting people know that I'm here, and what I do, like, and the importance of it. Like, you know, a lot of people don't know what a doula is. A lot of people don't feel like it's necessary until after it's already needed, you know. So just trying to get people to understand how important it is, like, and it's an investment and it's worth it. Like,
It's your life.
Yeah, it is, and it's your baby's life.
Yeah,
like, you know. So I mean, yeah, that's
I love
the biggest
it.
thing I can say.
So right now, everyone needs to know that, you know, if you're pregnant or you're planning on getting pregnant, you are offering virtual services.
Yes,
where you can be a support and a resource to those that are going through the birthing process. So, you know, hit your girl up so that you can know everything you need to know about birthing, so that you can have the most pleasant experience, and feel safe when you're going into this, you know, because feeling scared and unsure when you're about to have a baby is not where you want to be, because it's going to put your body at a defense state, and you don't want that. So just support her. Let us know where they can find you and, you know, book you.
Okay, you can book me at browngirlbirthing.com. And you can also find me at Brown Girl Birthing on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Okay. Make sure you guys follow. I'm sure you're dropping all types of tips on your Instagram. So make sure you guys follow and share, because we just need to get the word out there that we have doulas that look like us, that will advocate for us. So it's just me.
For us, by us.
Yep, FUBU, you already know.
Yes.
Anything else that you feel that everyone needs to know about what you do and the services that you provide?
I also provide lactation services and breastfeeding education. And I would say it's great if you can have that before you have baby, because yeah, when baby get here and you in pain, you're gonna be like, forget it. I'm not gonna do it no more. And so the education about your body, about how it works, is very important to have before you start that journey.
Yes.
So yeah, and it's benefits to not just baby, but to mom as well. So yes, and August is National Breastfeeding Month, and next week is Black Breastfeeding Week. So yeah, want to shout that out.
Right on time. Right on time.
Yes. So yeah.
So you guys heard it. Get her, book her for your babies. Make sure you follow. Don't forget to follow Melanin Boulevard and tune in every Thursday, dropping new episodes every Thursday. And we're talking to amazing Black people doing bomb things in our community, making changes, and just different ways that we can just be great and protect each other. So make sure you stay tuned in. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you are buying the Melanin Boulevard merch. Get you a t-shirt or two. And don't forget to tell your friends to tell their friends, and maybe we could be friends, to tune in every Thursday. Bye, guys.